Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm really glad you're here today because this is one of those stories that feels bigger than just celebrity news. It's about pressure, resilience, and knowing when to listen to your body. We're talking about Thee Stallion and her powerful return to the stage after a sudden health scare. Now let me ask you something right from the start. Have you ever pushed yourself so hard that your body just said, no more? Because that's exactly what happened here, and it unfolded in front of a live audience. So here's what went down. Megan had stepped into a completely new space in her career, Broadway. She was performing in Moulin Rouge, the musical, taking on a role that demanded not just talent, but stamina, consistency, and intense focus night after night. Think about that for a second. This isn't a music concert where you perform a set and leave. This is live theater. Every movement, every line, every moment has to be precise, and it all happens in real time. Now imagine carrying that pressure, and then suddenly mid-performance, your body starts to shut down. That's exactly what happened. During one of her shows, Megan began feeling extremely unwell, dizzy, weak, and on the verge of fainting. The performance had to stop, and she was rushed to the hospital. Now pause for a moment and put yourself in that audience. You're watching a live show, everything seems normal, and then suddenly, it stops. What would you feel in that moment? Concern? Confusion? Fear? Because for many fans, it was all of that at once. And for Megan, it was something even deeper. Doctors later confirmed that it wasn't some mysterious illness. It was exhaustion, dehydration, and burnout. In other words, her body had reached its limit. And that brings up a really important question. How often do we ignore the warning signs our bodies give us? Because let's be honest, most of us do it. We push through fatigue. We ignore stress. We tell ourselves, just one more day, or I'll rest later. But what happens when later comes too late? Now here's what makes this story really powerful. Instead of disappearing completely, Megan took a short time to recover, and then she made a comeback. She didn't just return quietly either. She came back with honesty. She openly admitted that she had been pushing herself too hard, running on empty, and that the experience was a wake-up call. And that level of transparency? It hits differently. Because in a world where celebrities often seem untouchable, moments like this remind us that they're human too. Now, let me ask you something. Do you think strength means never stopping? Or could real strength actually mean knowing when to pause? Because Megan's story challenges that idea. She didn't power through in a way that ignored her limits. She stopped. She reset. And then she came back stronger. And honestly, that's something a lot of people struggle with. Now think about the pressure she was under. New role, new environment, huge expectations. And not just from fans, but from herself. Because when you step into something new, especially at that level, you want to prove yourself. You want to show you belong. But at what cost? That's the question. Because ambition can be powerful, but it can also be overwhelming. And sometimes, we don't realize we've crossed the line until our body forces us to stop. Now, imagine being backstage in that moment. You feel your energy fading. You know the audience is waiting. You know the performance depends on you. What would you do? Would you try to keep going? Or would you step away? Because Megan actually tried to push through, but physically couldn't. And that moment right there? That's real. That's human. That's something people don't always talk about. Now here's where the story shifts. After taking time to recover, she returned to the stage. And not just physically, but mentally stronger. Because coming back after something like that isn't easy. There's fear. There's doubt. There's the question of, what if it happens again? But she faced all of that and still stepped back into the spotlight. And that says a lot. Now, let's zoom out for a second. This isn't just about Megan Thee Stallion. It's about all of us. Because in different ways, we all deal with pressure. Work, school, personal goals, life in general. And sometimes, we treat rest like it's optional, like it's something we earn instead of something we need. But what if that mindset is wrong? What if rest is actually part of the process? Because without it, everything else starts to fall apart. So here's something to really think about. Are you listening to your body? Or are you waiting until it forces you to? because that difference matters a lot. Now, as Megan continues her journey, this moment will probably become just one chapter in her story. But it's an important one, because it shows not just her talent, but her awareness, her willingness to acknowledge limits, and her ability to come back stronger. And maybe that's the real takeaway here. Not just resilience, but balance. Not just success, but sustainability. Because at the end of the day, what's the point of achieving something if you're too exhausted to enjoy it? That's a question worth sitting with. Thanks so much for watching and spending this time with me. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real, engaging stories just like this. And let me know in the comments, have you ever had a moment where you had to stop, reset, and come back stronger? I'll see you in the next one.